Hello everyone. Today we're going to explore and practice the use of primary auxiliary verbs, especially as main verb in simple present tense. A verb means acting or doing, and it can show an action, an event, or a state of the subject in a sentence. Verbs can be classified into two main categories based on their functions: main verbs and auxiliary verbs. Main verbs are acting or doing verbs. These tell us about the action of the subject. Auxiliary means providing supplementary or additional help and support. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs tell us about the state of the subject. This category includes all those verbs that often function as helping verbs for the main verb. These have two subclasses: primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Primary auxiliary verbs. As we have already said, that these can be used both as main verb and helping verb. In the next lesson, we will see these verbs more as helping verbs. But today we will focus on primary auxiliary verbs as main verbs in present indefinite tense. Today's lesson is very simple, but at the same time it is very important too. Students who don't do enough practice of these three verbs are often confused and tend to make mistakes when they speak or write English. So please pay attention, take notes, and do all the exercises with me to have a clear understanding. Use of verb have. I, we, you, they have. He, she, it has. Now use verb has or have and try to do this exercise. I have my breakfast on time. We have our breakfast on time. You have your breakfast on time. They have their breakfast on time. He or she has his or her breakfast on time. It has its breakfast on time. Task 1. Use verb have or has to complete the following sentences. Use of verb do. I, we, you, they do. He, she, it does. Now again pause the video and do this exercise in your copy. I do my breakfast on time. We do our breakfast on time. You do your breakfast on time. They do their breakfast on time. He does his breakfast on time. She does her breakfast on time. It does its breakfast on time. Now do this small task to check your understanding. Use of verb be. This verb is the most tricky one because it completely changes its form when it is used in sentences. The base form of the verb is be, and with different subjects it is having a different form. With I, it becomes am. With we, you, they, it becomes are. And with he, she, or it becomes is. It's your turn now. Pause the video and do this exercise in your copybook. I am always on time. We are always on time. You are always on time. They are always on time. He is always on time. She is always on time. It is always on time. Task 3. Use Verb Be is MR to complete the following sentences. Some more information about auxiliary verbs. Verb be becomes was in past tense with I, he, she and it becomes were with we, you and they. And in future tense it becomes will or will be or shall be with all the subjects. Verb do becomes did with all the subjects in past tense, and it becomes will do or shall do in future tense with all the subjects. Verb have or has becomes had in past tense with all the subjects, and it becomes will have or shall have in future tense with all the subjects. In today's lesson, our focus was on the uses of verbs be, have and do in simple present tense. I hope this lesson have been useful for you. In the next lesson, we'll talk about present continuous tense. So, till next lesson, goodbye and thank you.